Top 5 reasons to vote for the Tories this general election. Top 5 reasons to love Nigel Farage. Top 5 reasons to vote for the Labour Party this general election.
Kieran from Wales is a centre-left political commentator who has been commenting and basically taking the full mick out of everything going on with the UK political parties.
Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be discussing what's gone on in the UK in the last week, where it feels like a lot of the UK or the UK politics in general has been going global around the world. It's a pretty interesting time because of course when you're in the UK you're up to date with what's going on, but it's rarely as popular as American politics, for example. But the whole world has been discussing what's going on in the UK with the grooming case scandal, whether that be Elon Musk going in on Keir Starmer, Nigel Farage going in on Keir Starmer, a bunch of leaders going in on Keir Starmer. So it's a very interesting time. Was very lucky with the opportunity to speak to Kieran from Wales. Kieran from Wales has been going global on TikTok, and so it was very cool to get him on the call and discuss what the situation is in the UK. So yeah, basically what this video will be discussing is what the future is for the UK in terms of prime ministers, what has gone on in the last week of the UK, and what is the position of the UK on the prime minister right now. Excited to do it, and let's get into this. To start off the call, there was a discussion about the previous prime ministers, where we've had Liz Truss, who lasted under 2 months, like she was out very quickly. Also Keir Starmer, who's now been there for a few years, and of course Rishi Sunak, who got kicked out 2 years, within 2 years to 2 years and 2 years, 3 years.
I think at the moment the left is really struggling globally. Being in the UK, it's felt more, but I don't think it's exclusive to the UK. I think the left is experiencing something that is just probably unprecedented for a long time at least. Don't really know how they go about fixing it. Look at the right, and you look at Farage, Tommy Robinson, and Tate, and all the rest of those knobheads. Look at Farage, look at Robinson, look at Tate, look at Musk. They speak in plain, basic English. Like, we shouldn't allow illegal people coming into the country. Like, yeah, of course we shouldn't. Like, that's a bit of a no-brainer. But they politicise that, and I think people have realised that you can no longer just pretend to be intelligent and therefore you are. You have to appeal to a mass audience. Keir Starmer has drastically got that wrong. He doesn't have a personality. He's just a blanket. Like, he's so boring. Like, if he's not gone by the end of next year, I would be very surprised.
Now, of course, one of the key figures of the last week has been Elon Musk, who has been going crazy on X, whether that be discussing the Keir Starmer thing. That's basically the main thing he's been going viral for, but also for the H-1B visas in the United States. And I wanted to see what Kieran thought about Elon Musk interfering with international affairs into the United Kingdom.
The Tories were in government for 14 fucking years, and they did nothing. But for Musk to get involved in the first place in the US is bad enough. Now, for him to be going into the UK this morning on Good Morning Britain, Elon Musk's dad, Errol Musk, this morning said that Tommy Robinson is pretty much the same as Nelson Mandela. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree in a lot of cases in father-son relationships. The fact that there's the implication or the suggestion that Elon Musk is anyway racist or xenophobic or anything, right? I don't think it's grounded in nothing. And if that is Errol Musk and that's where a lot of his thoughts come from, then you can see why Elon Musk can be perceived to be this dangerous individual that I genuinely think he is.
Like, for example, I would understand if news stations wanted to get Elon Musk on, but to get his dad on, like, who exactly is his dad? He might as well get his dog on. I would want to make a case for the Elon Musk thing, for example, is because I feel like in the UK, I haven't seen anyone really touching on this scandal for so long. I think it's right in that circumstance to try and save the UK.
He wants to start talking about it in a conceptual, this is broadly wrong. Let's not name individuals who are at fault, but this is what we should be doing about it. But not in the way he's handled it. Made everybody doubt the justice system in the UK, made everybody doubt whether there is complicity from the Labour government. And I think that is largely the biggest problem.
If they end up going to the YouTube boxing thing, who wins?
I'm going with Elon Musk. That man is built like Tyson Fury.
He's got the South African genes as well, so he probably knows how to make a tackle or two, right?
Also, in Europe right now, there is a rise in the far right, whether that be now in the United Kingdom with the Reform Party or with Tommy Robinson, etc., or whether that be in Italy, Austria, Poland, Hungary. Europe is definitely getting more far right right now, so it's a very interesting time from that perspective. I wanted to discuss, what does Kieran think about the UK going in the same direction?
What is your take on Farage being Prime Minister and in general, like, the rise of the far right?
It's scary. I kind of welcome it to an extent, right? If I have to explain where I am ideologically, it's probably centre left. And I think what the rise of the far right has done It's brought a new dynamic and a new interest into politics. For good or for bad, you can argue that, right? There's a whole nother discussion to be had around that. But I think so long as we have first past the post, I can't see Farage getting anywhere near. I think the guy's toxic, and I think he has been for a long time. One thing I will say about Farage is I firmly believe he is the best politician the UK has seen since Margaret Thatcher. There's a correlation between somebody who feels racist or is racist and somebody who likes reform. That's not to say that everything Farage does is racist or xenophobic, but a lot of his politics is grounded in those ideologies. Racism, probably a bit far. Xenophobic, I think, yes, absolutely. And it's not by accident that these individuals join the Reform Party. It's not by accident they join the BNP, for instance. It's not by accident they join the National Front. But as I said, I firmly believe he's an incredible politician. The guy is a multi-millionaire. But yet, because you see him in a pub with a pint in his hand, he's one of the people.
With the Reform Party rising, does Labour stop being wishy-washy and start being more straight-talking, like Farage, for example? Or does Labour just scrap Keir Starmer and getting a new leader that will be straight-talking instead of Keir Starmer?
Unless he gets expertly trained by somebody like, I don't fucking know, Alistair Campbell. I don't know. I don't think Keir Starmer is that person to be that straight-talking left-wing politician. He's a lawyer by trade, right? And you only got to watch a court case and see that lawyers speak in riddles at the best of times. The only person that really springs to mind in terms of straight talking, plain English, no kind of hairs or graces about them. Boris Johnson was very good at it as well. You know, as much as he was like, he was still very much like speaking in plain English. You knew what he was saying. He'd speak in riddles, but by the end of it, you knew exactly what he meant because he gives some stupid metaphor to sum it up. Whereas Keir Starmer come in and said, we're not the Tories. I am not Rishi Sunak. I'm not going to do all the things they did to you, but here's the things that we're aiming to do instead. And in the meantime, we're going to launch 150 reviews.
And of course, one of the main things that happened in the last week is that Elon Musk ending his relationship with Nigel Farage, which was a surprise, especially with how much endorsement Elon Musk has given Nigel Farage. To see that tweet, it's very interesting, but at the same time, the way that Nigel Farage kind of approached it from GB News perspective is a way of saying that they can disagree on certain situations, but ultimately, could Elon Musk end up supporting Nigel Farage again? Yes. I mean, he's already started retweeting his tweets again, so that could be happening, of course.
I feel as though it's a big old joke. I feel like they're almost having us all on. Like, I feel like it's just another way for him to just, here we go, here's another joke to the world. Let's see who falls for this. I don't know why Musk is getting involved in politics in the first place. Then he wants to get into bed with Nigel Farage, and then when he sees that Nigel Farage isn't pretty enough to get into bed with, he's like, nah, I don't want you anymore.
Obviously, Elon Musk was endorsing Trump heavily, but would it be surprising if him privately just speaking badly about Trump? Probably not. And I'm sure that Farage is still benefiting from this publicity. So do you think this could just be a stunt just to keep pushing the Reform Party further and further down people's throats?
I imagine in a month or two's time, it's going to be Elon Musk tweeted, I was just joking. He's actually proved to me that he really is the right leader for the UK. It's just a game to Elon Musk because he's got his own business agenda, which is probably the reason he's involved in the first place, let's be honest. I genuinely believe he's finding it fun more than anything else, a way for him to fuck around and see what he can get away with. Musk scares me. The guy is like the modern day Rupert Murdoch. Elon Musk literally has a backdoor tunnel right through to the Department of Government Efficiency, which is an arm of the government, but he can also peddle whatever he wants through social media, and he's far more dangerous. Who's in charge of Elon Musk, right? Is Trump the boss? I would think not. I reckon Elon Musk runs the show, and Trump is just this little puppet.
Yesterday, for example, it came out with Mark Zuckerberg basically saying that he's going to be, I believe, ending censorship now on Facebook. Do you think that this is going to be like the new direction of billionaires, where they're all going to start following in Elon Musk's footsteps?
Mark Zuckerberg kind of has to, right? Given that Trump is about to become president. So he's like, don't worry, Trump, I'll do it before you tell me to. I don't know how much further other billionaires can take this in terms of copying.
And one of the most important things, one of the most important people in discussion for the last week has been Tommy Robinson. Now, was genuinely surprised with how much popularity Tommy Robinson has had within the last week, considering he's been locked up in jail, and I haven't heard of him in a long, long time. In the media. And now, of course, he's back into the politics with now Elon Musk commenting on him, Elon Musk's dad, comparing him to Nelson Mandela. So this was a very hot topic for the week, especially with the grooming scandal that is going on. They were tying Tommy Robinson in with a lot of the conversation that is going on right now politically. And so I wanted to see what Kieran's thoughts were on this.
Spoke about the rise in the far right. I personally was surprised by how popular Tommy Robinson became, given he was in jail. Is Tommy Robinson someone that you could see him as Prime Minister in the UK?
No, mate. He's an absolute fucking scumbag that deserves nothing but solitary confinement. There's one thing believing firmly in, you know, the right to justice, and, you know, if you believe there's too many immigrants coming into the UK, fine, you can have those views. There's nothing wrong with having those views, so long as you're not doing it in a hostile, malicious, racist, xenophobic way, which is exactly what Stephen Yaxley does. He's a scumbag that has thought, right, my name is too complicated, sounds too posh, so what I'm going to do instead is call myself Tommy Robinson. My supporters can spell that, I'm pretty sure. He's basically a football hooligan that has read too much of the Daily Mail. He's a fucking knobhead. Elon Musk is now talking about him in the way he is. This guy is going to be the saviour of the UK. He's in solitary confinement because he's a racist, xenophobic bastard who's going to get stabbed in prison, and he's in prison for contempt of court. If you break the law, you should go to fucking prison. People seem to forget this. He was this far-right, racist, thuggish prick, and I hope he stays in solitary confinement for as long as he possibly can.
And now, onto another question that was just quite funny, was Elon Musk talking about the US liberating the UK from a tyrannical government, which is interesting. I think it's obviously a joke, but I said this as well in the video, is that Elon Musk has always been quite like a low-key figure, I feel like, but now then, since he bought X and he's been supporting Trump, he's obviously been a lot more popular, he's been a lot more in public eye, and now I can see him like manifesting like some crazy confidence that he's got right now, which is, you know, it's amazing. And of course, though, I feel like what he's doing right now is he is like a multi-billionaire, maybe the richest, if not top 2 in the world, and he's basically remembered, oh, he is the richest person in the world, he's going to do whatever he wants, everything that he wanted to do when he was younger, and he's basically just making it become a reality for him right now. And wanted to discuss that and see what his thoughts were on the UK needing saving from the United States.
Should America liberate the people of Britain from their tyrannical government?
No, mate. I've seen some of the stuff that is online to do with Musk and Trump and all the rest of it. Do we need half of America on Trump's half to come and save the UK? I really don't think we do. I really don't think we do. If anything, I feel like we should go over there and save that. The UK needs saving by the US? Absolutely fucking not. No chance. I mean, the UK does not need saving from a country whose fucking Second Amendment right is to shoot children.
Apparently he was looking into now buying Liverpool Football Club. I feel like he just woke up one day and reminded himself he's like the richest man on earth, and he's going to do everything he wanted to do when he was 12 years old.
It's almost like a 12-year-old kid has just been gifted $1 billion and is like, right, now go and see if you can fuck the world up.
Now, I think that this is one of the most interesting times for UK politics, especially for the Prime Minister elections, because now even Andrew Tate has got into the elections, which is, again, funny to see. He's now opened the Bruv Party, and so that's come in now, which is, of course, an interesting topic to discuss as well. I wanted to see what he thought about Andrew Tate now entering the political space. Of course, Andrew Tate, he's discussed a lot in politics, but he's never actually ran for a position. With the current voting system that goes on in the UK, it'll be very hard for his party to get elected. But could Andrew Tate maybe become Prime Minister in the future? I mean, with Trump, people never thought he could get presidency, and look what happened there. So if Andrew Tate becomes Prime Minister of the UK, yeah, it's definitely possible.
To continue on with this Prime Minister stuff, out of the blue, Andrew Tate is now running for Prime Minister with his Bruv Party. What are your thoughts on that, Kieran?
I don't even know where to start. I think this guy has been probably the most damaging individual to the last 2 generations. But of anybody I can ever remember in my 27 years of life. I don't ever remember seeing somebody with as much toxic influence as this guy. What's his bloody stupid university thing? I can't even remember. You don't sell a course via Twitter and to teach people how to be millionaires. Like, that makes you be a millionaire, and that's probably the gimmick that you're putting on everyone. He's such a scumbag. This guy's worse than Stephen Yaxley. He's worse than Tommy Robinson, for sure. I genuinely cannot fathom why this guy still basically has a voice. The part I do understand, right, is that a lot of people feel shut out by the world to some degree. Therefore, let's bring you back to the real world and let's put you back at the forefront of everything, because you're the one that runs the show, not them. And I can understand why that resonates with some people. I remember seeing a TED Talk a few years ago, and it was, you shouldn't take inspiration from people who are, say, 5-10 years ahead of you, right? For instance, if there's a billionaire that is 10 years ahead of you, they've got this amazing house, 100 holiday homes, all the cars, all the planes, whatever you want, but they have a terrible relationship with their wife, their kids fucking hate them, and all this kind of stuff. Is that the kind of person you want to be? Absolutely not. The fact that he's running for wants to be PM in the next 5 years is scary. I don't think it'll go anywhere, if I'm honest. When you've got somebody called the Bruv Party, like, come on. He's not getting votes from anybody over the age of 30. Let's be honest. Again, because of the the UK electoral system, because you have to have concentrated support in a particular constituency. And unless he's going after a constituency that is like, I don't know, 90% white male aged 18 to 30, then he's not going to win a seat.
I was going through his manifesto policies. He's going to have like a culture minister that's going to go around streets in the UK, and if there's a street that looks different to being British, they need to knock it down and then turn it British so that it feels different. So if there's like an Iraqi sign or something like that. That's why I feel like if we go back to Tommy Robinson, like if they say Tommy Robinson becomes Prime Minister, how divisive that could be. Could there be riots as well in the UK if Tate becomes Prime Minister?
There was more chance of Leicester winning the Premier League than there is of this man winning 10 Downing Street, I can assure you that. If he does, like, I am moving out of the country and I'm never coming back. And like, that is an absolute promise to anybody in my family, friends, whatever, that may see this. If this guy becomes Prime Minister, I am never coming back to this country.
And finally, the last question to ask Paul for the day is, with all these candidates now running for Prime Minister, based on the current ones that I've seen, unless there's now someone else that's been missed, who does he believe will become the next Prime Minister? We've got Andrew Tate, Kemi Badenoch, Liz Truss, Keir Starmer and Tommy Robinson. I've never seen anything that crazy in politics ever.
Assuming these are still the candidates, however seriously people choose to take them, etc., who would you predict would become the next Prime Minister?
If it's these five, I think Keir Starmer will still be Prime Minister. Reform are going to completely wipe out the Tories. So I think Reform will be the genuine opposition. I think Andrew Tate will get maybe 10, 20,000 votes. I think Stephen Yachtly will remain in prison. I don't think he's going to be peddled as this political prisoner that Elon Musk thinks he is, this Nelson Mandela-like figure. The main thing for me really is that I think the discussion around politics at the moment is just not what it should be. I think it's not conducive to anybody's benefits, really. It's not productive. It's not. Doesn't open up the discourse. Doesn't open up discussion. Doesn't invite new people into politics to try and talk about the issues that are actually important. And it's a shame. It's a real shame. I think so long as these caricatures and almost like comic book characters exist in the political world, I think we're always going to fall back into the hostility of, oh, but what about this? You fucking idiot. What about this? You fucking idiot. And that's the way it's been for the last 10 years. And I think until we can get to just sensible discussion again without the hostility and all the kind of toxic arguments that fall into politics as well, I think we're way off where we should be. And at the moment, it doesn't feel that way. But let's hope that the next 5 years things begin to change.